Bye.
Yay, look at everybody coming in. We're so excited that you're joining us today. Everybody's on time, 2:00. So it's, I'm so glad the world is on time these days. You know, it's like we all have our clocks are all synced. And so there's like, no one can ever be late for anything because we're all on the same time.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Yeah. So I don't know if I should give it just a few minutes just to get everybody in here, as many people, so we can just get started. But I'm super excited about this discussion. It's different than anything we've ever done before. We're always looking for new ways to inspire our florists and just bring them extra content or extra things that they can weave into their business. And this is something that I think is like, I'm terrified of it. So it's something I've been kicking and screaming and not wanting to do because I think, how can I do one more thing that is just like so necessary and I think so healthy for our businesses. So with that, I'm going to say hello to my friend Brandee Gaar, who is joining us to give us her like expertise on this subject matter, which, you know, maybe like expert is like, you're just jumping full in, and I've seen you go like the last year doing this, and I'm so inspired every time I see your videos. So I don't know if you'd just like to give an introduction about yourself. I mean, we've been friends for about 10 years. Over 10 years. And we did a lot of weddings when I was still doing weddings, and you're in the Central Florida market. You're an amazing wedding planner. I think you do like all the high-end weddings in all of Orlando. So that's saying a lot, but
thank you.
Please let our watchers, like our viewers, get to know Brandee. So please.
Yeah. Well, thanks, Kareen, for that amazing introduction. You're so sweet. And yeah, just so you guys know, I'm a planner in Orlando, Florida. I have a handful of planners that work with me. So I have a team, and we also do corporate events with our sister brand, 11 Events. And I have a podcast, the She Who Dares podcast, which Kareen has been on. It's so great. I love her story. And my really goal is that I have started to teach wedding pros how to scale their business. And so I think that was one of the hardest things for me when my business started getting larger, was how do I go from being a solopreneur and being burned out all the time to, you know, having a team and then starting to step out of weddings? Like, how can I do that? And so that's what I teach. And part of that is teaching reels, because I really like to teach things that move your needle. And I think you should only do things that dramatically move your needle. And if they don't, then stop doing it, because we don't have time to wear all the hats. And so that's really why I'm so passionate about reels. And yes, like Kareen said, I am not an Instagram expert at all. But I like to teach it from a perspective of like, I'm a wedding pro. I get it. I wear all the hats too. I have 3 daughters. I run 3 businesses. Like, I get it. So I like to teach wedding pros specifically how to do reels and how to really, really grow their audience and their sales from reels. So
yeah, that's awesome. It's so inspiring to watch you get out there and put yourself out there like every day, because I see how busy you are, and you know, I'm very curious about how that has translated into dollars for you, like putting it out there. And when did you start seeing a change as far as like, hey, I'm going to commit to doing this? I know you did it for, I think, a period of time, but like, is there a moment where you were like, I'm going to give up with this? Or no, I see definite like engagement happening that wasn't there before?
Yeah, so Reels rolled out to the mass market last September, well, late August. But last summer, I was looking for new ways to bring revenue into our business, or to just show up online. You know, I feel like as wedding pros, we're always like, what else should we be doing? But I don't really want to do all the things. But so I committed to doing TikTok for 30 days because I thought, well, let's give it a shot. Oh, I hated it. But it did not work for me. I was very consistent. I posted 3 times a week on TikTok. It didn't move the needle at all. And I was getting super frustrated. And I know 30 days isn't really probably enough time to test something, but it wasn't even doing anything at all. Like I was not getting anywhere. And so I was like, this is super frustrating. So I decided to stop. And then Reels came out almost immediately after. And for me, I was like, this is a no-brainer. One, short form video isn't going away. That's why TikTok is as popular as it is. It's massively popular. That's why YouTube has now created YouTube Shorts, and Pinterest now has story pins, because short form video is how people are taking in content. And so, but 100%. So on TikTok, you have to wonder, are my brides there? Am I going to be able to actually turn that into dollars? But on Instagram, no one is questioning whether brides and grooms and couples are on Instagram. It's a 100% fact. Wedding Wire has put out a report saying that 82% of all couples are shopping vendors on Instagram. So for me, it was like, this is a no-brainer. Of course, I'm going to start using Reels. I want to see what it does. And it was an immediate change, both for my coaching brand and for Blush. The number of organic followers and traffic and eyes that are on our grid is incredible. And then from there, it's our job to turn that into dollars. And so that's a whole different strategy that really just has to do with being engaged. And I think as wedding pros, a lot of times what happens is we post or we hire somebody to post for us, and then we don't engage. And when we engage on social media, that's where it turns into dollars. So that's really, really important.
So I am just curious, how do you like prioritize your schedule? Because I sat down to like make a reel, and honestly, it's not the easiest thing to figure out. So I actually had a couple people on my team, and we're going to try to do some really fun reels here coming up soon. So this is supposed to be my introduction to say, hey, let's do this too. So I'm putting a little bit of pressure on myself. However, I feel like, gosh, people are so creative with how they're coming up with these things. And I feel so inferior, almost like we're not going to put out good content. So that almost stifles me. So like, what is your advice to people who are like challenged, where they just don't, like, they're afraid? Like seriously, you guys, I'm afraid. So please, like any reel that we ever post, because it's probably going to be like a big stepping out of my comfort zone. Yet I can see that our florists are all on Instagram, and I want to make our company known as like a fun brand, and like we really are enjoying connecting. So what is your advice there?
Yeah. So, well, I will say a couple of things. So people look at me now and they're like, oh my gosh, of course it's easy for you. You do it every day. But it wasn't in the beginning. I for years with Blush, I never showed my face on social media ever. I didn't need to. I felt like now we're in a place where our buyers are, they've never known a world without social media. So they're there. We have to be all over it. We have to be real. And but my first reels, Kareen, oh my gosh, I want so desperately to go delete them from my grid, but because I teach on this now, I leave them because I want people to go, like if you go to my coaching page and you scroll to the bottom of my reels, they're so terrible, like cringeworthy terrible. But I don't think you can learn anything without doing it. Like you have to just do it, and then you'll get better at it. And because you have to kind of understand, what do I want my voice to be? Like I am a pretty buttoned up person when it comes to business. You know me as a real person, so I'm not actually very buttoned. I'm pretty goofy, and so Reels lets me be able to show that side of my personality. And that's what we try to bring forward in brands, is that people don't buy from brands, they buy from people. And Reels allow you this opportunity to kind of be more normal and be more human. But you are going to make not great reels at first. I mean, your very first reel, you're probably going to be like, oh, I was expecting thousands of views, and you might not get that. And that's okay. The whole goal is to connect with your ideal customer, not to go viral. And I really want you guys to hear that too, because a lot of people say, oh my gosh, I had 1 million views, or I had 300,000 views. And that's not really our goal. My goal as a business owner is to turn viewers into dollars. So if I go viral and I have 1 million people that view this reel that I make, I'm going to end up with a bunch of people on my platform that actually never want to buy anything of mine. So I really try to be very careful about only making reels that are either inspiring, or they're evoking emotion, or they're educating my audience. because I only want people's eyes on it that are going to eventually buy from me. Otherwise, you're going to end up having a bunch of followers and your engagement's going to go down, which is really bad for your Instagram algorithm too. So don't concentrate on going viral, just concentrate on making great content. And great content can mean a lot of things. It can be entertaining, but it can also just be educational. Like, I love doing educational reels because you think you can't get across a message in 15 seconds. You'd be shocked at how fast you can get across a message. And people are like, oh, I really like that. And then they can read your caption for more, or they can go to a blog post that you created for even more information, or a YouTube video. So I feel like reels are almost like the gateway to more of your information.
Yeah. And I think you make a really valid point with saying that today's consumers have not known a world without social media. And if you think about our brides, they're going to be getting younger and younger and younger, or a couple. Like they're not going to age with us. Like, we're going to be getting older as they're going to be getting younger. So I feel like we have to be relatable in those kind of ways and stay relevant in their eyes. So that's why I think it's just such a great approach, especially in our markets. Our florists are all over the country in many different markets. So if they're all taking this different protocol on getting those clients, like, they're gonna funnel into your like arsenal of clients. So I feel like it's really intentional.
Yeah. And I think too, when people try to think, what would I even say in a reel, which I know that you've thought, what would I even say? Well, think about, what do you write about in blogs? Like, do you blog? And not everybody does. I get that. You should be. That's a different topic. But what do you write about in a blog? Let's say, this is an example I like to use a lot, for a wedding planner, they might say, here's 3 things that you should always remember to pack on wedding day. And so we might write a blog about that. Well, you can repurpose that as a reel. It's that fast. So you just take the same content that you're writing in long form blogging, or, that you're sharing in your grid. If you're posting on Instagram at all, you're likely posting some sort of education at some point for your couples, whether that's, what blooms are in season, when, things like that, or what colors go well together, or what flowers make the best boutonnieres, or creative boutonnieres that you've made, or, there's a million things that you can do. How to put together, a flower arrangement, or if your bouquet falls apart on wedding day and you don't have a planner, or, then here's how to fix it, do a quick fix on a boutonniere or corsage. So there's so many things that you can do. You just have to think about, the first thing you want to think about is, what do I even want to get across? Because that's going to help you to really understand, okay, I have a lot to talk about, actually.
Yeah. Well, and I think it's always good to know who your ideal client is. So like, we've been coming up with like ways to like sell our software, and just different kind of ideas as far as those go, is like, who is our ideal client that would enjoy using details? So, I'm ready to add all the bullet points and the little balloons and bubbles over my head, which is not that hard to do once you play around with the actual tools within Instagram. So maybe don't publish them, just spend some time trying to figure out, and then come up with some concepts. So
I think it's really helpful to maybe write down 10 or 15 things that you would want to say. And honestly, you guys, there's only 3 reasons you should ever post on social media at all, but especially for reels, would be to inspire, or to evoke emotion, or to educate. And so educating, honestly, that's the easiest piece, because like, I just gave like 5 different ideas, like how to fix a boutonniere or whatever. But to inspire, so that could even be like a really unique ceremony arch that you made, and your team time-lapsing, putting it together. What you might not realize is that there's actually probably a lot of things that you already put on your stories. But here's the thing I want you to know about Reels. When you post on your story, only people that already follow you can see your content. But when you post the exact same thing as a reel, so same thing, you're posting behind the scenes footage of a wedding, maybe your team's setting up, and you turn that into a reel instead, it now is organically pushed out throughout Instagram. And tons of people that didn't already follow you get to see it, and then they want to come follow you, and they want to get more content. So really just think about it as, anything you're already posting in your grid or on your stories, same things, you're just going to now post them as real.
So can you go into like hashtags because I know in like different markets, people use this to attract their brides and so forth. But like, are there specific hashtags they should be using, or, how much do you think that plays into like the success of a reel, or the, like how many people it reaches?
I think it's huge. And we use hashtags on all of our reels, on really all of our posts. And the hashtag strategy is the same for reels as it is for your grid. So you want to use about 30 hashtags. Now, I will tell you guys, again, I tell people the real way, like reality, not real. I teach people what's reality. I don't have time to come up with 30 hashtags for every post. So what I did was I went, and you also can't use the same hashtags every single day. Sorry, I want to make sure you guys know that. You'll get shadow banned from Instagram. So if you use the exact same hashtags every single post, you will get shadow banned. It's a thing. So what you want to do is I created 7 different hashtag groupings that we just rotate. And it's kind of based on, what we're posting. So we have real weddings hashtag groupings. We have educational hashtag groupings. And so we just literally keep them in our phone in a note, and then we just copy and paste it, because I don't have time to type in all those hashtags every time. I won't do it. And so you can always change a few of them up, but I always like to say, make sure that you're location specific if you don't travel. So for my coaching, I obviously don't need to be location specific, but for Blush, we only stay in Florida. So we always want to make sure that it says like Orlando Bride, or even your venue. So it could be like Bella Colina Bride, or, Ormond Beach Bride, whatever. And so you want to make sure that you're using location specific hashtags too. But same hashtag strategy that you use on your grid applies for reels. And I would not even bother posting a reel if I did not use hashtags. This is my opinion. But I would probably use 10 to 15 at a minimum.
Okay. So how long should I spend on a reel? Like, is there the perfect amount of time? Like, how long do you, like, I loved the one where you guys, the shoe gets flipped up and then you spin around in a chair and you're wearing some other fabulous outfit.
Yeah.
And I don't even know how I need to move that into details, like branding. I just want to make that because I think it looks so clever. But how long did it take to do these different things? And like what, it could become a time suck. So like, I feel like all of our customers, such limited time. So it's like, this has to be something easy to do. What is your suggestion?
So that is kind of where I become different as a teacher than a lot of people that you'll see on the web, I guess. I am a business owner. I am not an Instagram guru. So I will never teach you how to make a reel that includes using 6 different apps or even going out of the platform. I teach people how to make 5-minute reels. Now, your very first reel is not going to take you 5 minutes, because you're going to just be figuring out some of the, like you said, like how do I move the text and where do I put it? But the way that I teach reels is that, one, you should only spend 5 minutes making one. So any reel you see on my page, except for the shoe flipping one, because my daughter helped me make that, is 5 minutes or less. And honestly, most of the time it's like 2 minutes. Like I made one right before this because I had like 6 minutes before I had to come live. And I was like, let me make a reel really fast. And I posted it to my page. So I make them really, really fast. And it's not because I'm fast at it. It's because I only have time to make those kind of reels. Anything that has you, in lots of different locations, that's going to take you a lot more time. But you don't need to get fancy with it to make an impact, as long as you're educating your audience or you're inspiring your audience. And so I teach to make really, really, really fast reels. Now, I will say you can still have a little bit of fun with it. Like, you can change in a reel and be very, very quick still. You're literally just changing your clothes and then popping back on screen. It's very, very quick. But I also like to batch my reels. And I think that's something that a lot of people don't realize that you can do. They think, oh my gosh, I have to make reels every day. No, you don't. I make mine typically batched out. And so I'll make 10 to 15 in one block of time. And that's why it's important to know what you want to say. So, all the different things that you want to get across to your audience, you want to write all of those down, and then you can make all of your reels at once and they stay in your draft and you just publish them when you're ready. So that's a really nice thing too, is that I believe in time blocking. can't make reels every day because sometimes, let's face it, our hair is a mess and we have no makeup on and you don't want to be on camera, you know?
Yeah. Unless that's the look you're going for, someone really
I
like,
mean, and
then they
for
hired
some
you and
people
now
it
they're
is.
like, boom, look at how happy they are. They, you know, I don't know. It's like the whole, everything
No,
changes.
for some people it is for sure. And also I would make sure, especially for florists, I mean, there's so much behind the scenes, you guys, that you can show when you're in the studio or you're designing. Anybody that sketches their designs before they produce them, I mean, being able to just set your camera up, show it as a time lapse, and it's so cool. Just turn it into a reel instead of a story.
Well, I guess that's an ask that I have for all of our users that are looking at this is I would love to see your before process and then the proposal and then the finished product. And if you guys would tag us when you start making these reels, not only do I think that it's just amazing to see how the look on paper comes to life. And like, that's one thing that we're missing now because we don't do any design work. So I would love to see some people kind of create that because the music that people do to these, just the behind the scenes stuff it's so clever and it just, it puts a good spin on what you're doing and it just makes it so fresh. So I particularly love watching them. I get on TikTok and I just am like, keep scrolling, keep on scrolling. I could be there for like an hour until it's like, hey lady, you've watched this for too long.
Isn't that so funny that it will tell you like you've been scrolling too long? So let me give you guys a little creativity hack because I think this is something that a lot of people told me. I never even thought about that. It makes it so much easier. So instead of going in and trying to figure out what you're going to make and you see all these people and you're like, I can't do that. Here's what I do. So one, reels are meant to be copied. That's the whole point of reels. That's what makes them go viral. So never feel like copying someone else's reel is a bad thing. Now, you should put your own spin on it to some degree, but legitimately people, if you pick a soundbite and you just look at all the reels that have been made for that same soundbite, they're all the same. So it's really interesting. But what I do is like you just said, Kareen, you scroll. So a lot of times I'll be laying in bed at night and I'll scroll. And if you guys look at your phone, I don't have the update yet. So I'm going to just, if you look at your phone and you're in Reels, if you click the 3 buttons next to a reel, like 3 little dots, it'll give you an option to save it. And so you can save that reel into your saved. And then to find all of your saved, you just go to your profile, click the 3 lines at the top, and then go to your saved. So I constantly, when I'm scrolling just for fun, I'm saving reels I like because I'm like, ooh, I'll make that one day. Ooh, I'll make that one day. So now I've got this bank of saved audio or just like people I liked their video and it inspires me. So just now when I was making one before this, I just went through my saved and I was like, I need something that matches what I wanted to say. I just kind of wanted to do an inspirational one. And I found one I liked from my saved. I clicked use this audio and just made it really fast. So I think having that bank of saved reels helps so much because it helps you with your creativity.
Yeah, that's awesome. You mentioned something about like songs and so forth as saving different songs or different things that you find. And as a business owner, I know that I'm always worried about copyright. And is there anything that like people could get as far as like using a song? Has there been any ban to businesses using this? Have we heard? Okay.
Yeah. So businesses only get access to copyright-free music. And so a lot of people will say, oh, I have a business account and I don't even have the music feature. That's been a problem for some people, though I think they've fixed it for a large majority at this point. But you only get copyright-free music, which is terrible music. And so I actually use a lot of sound clips. So I'm sure you've seen mine. I use a lot of Kardashian sound clips. I use a lot of The Office or just goofy pieces of music that have a message to them. Anything that's on Instagram that your account allows you to use is totally fine. So your account won't allow you to use it if it's going to be copyrighted. So don't worry about that part. It just will literally not allow you to use it. So you don't have to worry about being copyrighted.
Okay. This is kind of off the subject and I've been watching and you have these gifts of yourself that you made, which is so cute because a lot of times it's like you're pointing to something or you're like, and clapping, like when you're happy about something. How did you do this? Like, tell us your tricks. Like, give us the lowdown on that. Because
That's so funny. That is a totally different topic. Okay.
Yeah.
It's so fun, you guys. So I will say this. It is actually a very long process to get your own GIF put into Instagram. It's possible, but it's just a long, tedious process. And I got frustrated with it and I was like, forget it, I'm not doing it. Then I was able to find a hack on YouTube. And Kareen, I can send you the link to this YouTube video. It's like 2 minutes long to show you how to do it if you want to send it out with the email. But it's just like a short YouTube video. Basically, you film yourself for 8 seconds, like on video, just film yourself on your camera doing something goofy, and it's super animated. And then you use this app called Giphy. It's super simple. It's free. And you can make like 30 a day. So I sat down one whole day and I made a ton of these GIFs and I just kept putting them into Giphy. And then it makes you a GIF and you keep them in your phone. So that's like a hack. And so when you're on stories, I don't know if you guys know that you can do this, but when you're on stories and you make a post to a story, you can add another photo on top of it. I don't know if that makes sense what I'm saying, but you can add another photo. So you just copy a photo from your album and that can be your GIF. So I'll send you the link because it probably doesn't make any sense as I'm talking about it. But it's this YouTube video by Juliana J. She's the one who showed me how to do it. And I was like, this is amazing.
Yeah.
It's so fun.
But I knew it was a long process and I feel like we got started on it. And then of course something else comes along that steals my attention. So it's like one of those things.
I don't like, go ahead.
No, please.
I was just gonna say, I don't like anything that takes an exorbitant amount of time because again, that's not something that's gonna move my needle. But I get the most comments on my stories when I use my own GIFs because people are like, you have your own GIF?
Yeah, it's so adorable. I mean, we might do our logo and I don't really want to put mine on our brand so much. So it's not so much for details, but I just love them personally. Yeah. I think my friends would all like to see those in my stories.
They're so fun.
Yeah, they're so fun. So I don't want to completely go off subject because I feel like Reels is really what everyone came for, but I'm just wanting to get your opinion because Clubhouse just came out and if you don't know about Clubhouse yet, like this is one more thing that florists are everywhere. And like Brandee saw this early and I was like stomping my feet, not wanting to join Clubhouse because I was like, no, I cannot do one more thing.
No more.
But I go there and there's like such great content. And if you're not aware of what this is, it's like a new kind of, you have to have an Apple phone and you have to have an invitation to be a part of it. And then there's different rooms that have different topics. And Brandee hosts one every day. I'm so blown away by your energy level to be able to come up with new topics every day.
Thank you.
I completely admire you for this. But I found that people are having some really great conversations on Clubhouse. So would you care to share if there's anybody on here who's not familiar with Clubhouse, they can be in the know?
Yeah. So this goes back to when I tell you guys, I only do things that move my needle. I try everything. And if something doesn't quickly make a move, then I'm like, I'm out. I don't have time. And Clubhouse, within like 24 hours of me being on Clubhouse, I saw the needle start moving. So basically what it is it's kind of like live podcasting. So there's a stage and there's always a moderator or multiple moderators. And then there's guests and they're all on the stage and they all can speak. And then there's an audience and you can listen to these conversations just like you would on a podcast. You're basically listening to the conversation, but then you can raise your hand and you can ask questions. You can jump on stage. You can interact with them. And the coolest thing, you guys, I mean, the most incredible humans, Mindy Weiss is on there. David Tutera is on there. Cece Todd, she's incredible. People that you wouldn't typically get to just like sit down and have a conversation with. Julie Novak from Party Slate, like love her. It's so incredible. And it's literally like sitting at a dining room table with them, having a conversation or listening in on a conversation. and you're learning so much. It's so much better than even a conference. I'm in a hotel room if you guys didn't notice, but I'm here at David Tutera's experience this week. And I'm even noticing to myself, like here at the conference, I've talked to him multiple times on Clubhouse and very friendly, like talk, chit chat. And then here it's like, there's no access because there's people like, I don't know. It's just like you guys have been to conferences before where the speakers are like untouchable to some degree, right? But Clubhouse breaks down all of those barriers, and it's so, so cool. I would say for wedding pros, the biggest piece of it is just the education. There's so much free education over there because it's still in beta. I think once it opens to the public, which we hear is coming very soon, it will get a little bit more watered down. I'm interested to see how long it kind of stays as this amazing thing.
Well, I've
for
also
me, it's huge.
A lot of people on there that just recently got into the wedding business, and they're also like talking like as they're an expert on the subject matter. So it's like you really have to vet who you're getting your information from. And I feel like there's a lot of new people that might just be interested in gathering information from anywhere. So I mean, I love it because I can just be driving down the road and not listening to anything on the radio. And it's like, well, let's open Clubhouse and see what they're talking about today. And I'll just get one little nugget that will give me that inspiration or something I can incorporate into my business.
Well, and you can cross industries. So, you know, conferences are expensive. So if you're going to attend maybe, let's say 2 to 3 conferences a year, they're typically going to be in your industry because it's like, that's going to be the biggest needle mover for me. But on Clubhouse, like my husband and I have been going into rooms about funnel building and email sales. And my husband's been really getting into like being an Amazon seller. I don't know why, but he's like, there's so much information on Clubhouse about it. And that's something you wouldn't really ever go to a conference for. So it's really cool that you can just like pull up any industry and you can listen to people that are just incredible. Oh, Elon Musk was on there recently too. It's like, what these people, Kevin Hart, it's so cool. The people that are on there just chit chatting.
Yeah. Yeah. It makes me wonder if Kevin Hart's invested in that app or, you know, by them just there, but it's just so interesting to see how fast like everything is moving and like how much content is out there. So I feel like with incorporating reels or doing the Clubhouse, like there's only so many hours in the day. Do you source out any of these types of things? Like, or do you do everything as far as like the reel making or so yourself?
So yeah, both of the things we're talking about right now, reels and Clubhouse, are not able to be done by someone else. So my grid and my stories are done by my social media manager. So all of my grid, anything you see on my grid, I mean, we talk about it, but that's technically being created by someone else. My stories are being created by someone else, except if it's just me. But Clubhouse is live and it's you. So you have to be the one that's showing up. And reels are you, unless, I mean, you guys have so much content that you can make. I'm just like, my mind is blown. Florist, meaning florist, because you don't even have to be in it. You can have a team member that learns reels and they can be in charge of making sure that you're posting at least 2 reels a week. Now, Instagram says 4 to 7 a week. I think that's bananas. I would never post that much reels. But if you post 2 a week, we're really seeing a lot of movement with that. Instagram also wants to see consistency. So don't just like post one reel and then not post another one for a month. Really decide, this is how many I'm going to post and here's how many I think I can. So let's just say, for instance, that you take behind the scenes footage at a wedding on Saturday. I would not encourage you to post that on Saturday. I would say wait till Monday, make it into a reel, and then post it. Don't try to post while you're in the moment. It's too stressful. So, but yeah, those 2 things you have to do live. But I'll also tell you guys, I mean, I can't express enough how much I get it when it comes to like, there's just one more thing for me to do. There's one more thing for me to do. But I would say, if as a wedding pro, you should absolutely you absolutely have to be on Instagram and Pinterest. Every other app you could let go for now, but you need to have a strong presence on Instagram and Pinterest. And one of the really cool things that they're doing to work together now, which I'm not sure that this was planned on purpose, but is that you can actually download your reels into your camera roll after you make them and upload them as story pins on Pinterest. And story pins are also being highly favored on the app, like highly favored. Yeah. And when someone watches it, it actually takes them back to the Instagram app. So when they watch it from Pinterest, it's going back to the Instagram app. So that's really, really cool. Or you can even repurpose your Reels content into pins. So you could do video pins, or you could say, you know, if you taught somebody, you know, how to remake a boutonniere if it breaks on wedding day, you can make that into pins as well, like a blog that you then pin. So you can really reuse that content, but our couples are on Instagram and Pinterest. 1000%, that's where they are. Clubhouse is great for education, and I would highly recommend getting on there, but you're not going to go there to grow your business in terms of like finding clients. Facebook, I mean, you can do it if you want to, and I do, but that's because I have enough team to be able to do it. It's not a needle mover for our industry, really.
Yeah, I noticed that too. It's like we just there and they sync doubly, but it's just not a strong engagement. So
no, so it's kind of like, you know, I really, really, really am passionate about only doing things that move your needle and doing those exceptionally well. And so I know for a fact that Reels is a total game changer for Instagram. That's just black and white. They've made it very clear that they're favoring accounts that are using Reels. And so if you're not already doing it, this is a really great place to have new eyes on your brand. And it's so funny to me because the number one thing wedding pros say to me when I'm coaching them is, I don't know how to grow my social. I don't know how to get more clients. And I'm like, are you doing Reels? No. Are you posting consistently? No. I don't know what to post, but it's so important. Like, I would rather you put money into a social media manager than post ads with some of the big publications, but that's my opinion. Because I think our clients are on Instagram. They're on Pinterest.
So when someone is getting started and they want to do Reels and they really want them to look really nice, what do they need to invest in? Let's be honest here. Do we have to like use certain ring lights or a certain type of microphone? Like, is there anything that makes them sound better, or do you like just grab your phone and go?
Yeah. So unless you're going to use your own voice, which I don't think I've actually ever done in a reel. My husband tells me I need to, but you don't actually use your own sound. So you are using the sound that's already built in. So you could have kids running around in the background as long as they're not in your camera frame. No one will ever hear it because it's not the sound from your phone. But so, for instance, I go everywhere with this little tripod. It's tiny. It folds up like this. So I go everywhere with it. It's always in my bag. And so a ring light is helpful because it helps you to be able to be more creative with your environment. But like today, I didn't bring my ring light because I didn't want to have so much stuff with me. So I had my little tripod and I just went out to the balcony and filmed it. So you do want to make sure that you have great lighting. So like I wouldn't be able to film one tonight because I'll have terrible hotel room lighting. But for right now, I was like, oh, I can grab this lighting that's here right now and I can make a reel there. So honestly, you don't need a lot. I would say a tripod is helpful. This one was like $9 on Amazon. It's helpful because when I first started making reels, I was trying to like prop my phone up here and that's so annoying. So this gives you a little bit more control. If you do have a ring light, I think mine was like $37 on Amazon. It just helps you to not have to find great lighting. You can do it from wherever you want. But no sound needed. No, and honestly, one of the cool things about reels too is they shouldn't be overproduced. They should be real and authentic and just kind of like, here's me. And you're welcome to go look at some of the ones that I've posted on my page. I'm Brandee Gaar on Instagram, but I always tell wedding pros to go actually over to Blush's page because mine are going to be more me, and you may not post as many, like you were saying, Kareen, you're like, I don't know that I want my face all over all the time, right? Yeah. But you could go over to Blush's page and see the ones that we post over there. Now, I will say, like on my coaching page, my grid does not matter to me that much, whether it's beautiful. I want it to be cohesive, but I also want it to be real because somebody's buying me as a person. So I don't make covers for my reels. I just let them be the cover that they are. But for Blush and for most wedding pros, I do think your grid is important because people might be coming to your page and they don't need to see like random chaos, right? So you can go on Canva. I'm sure most of you are familiar with Canva, canva.com, totally free. And they have Reels templates now. And so you just slap the cover, literally do it in the Reels app. You make it on Canva, you download it to your phone, and then you just upload it as your cover before you post. And that'll make it so that your grid still looks pretty, but it plays as a video.
That's great advice. We do have a question that came in. How Brandee can see how much this is helping her to attract her ideal clients, and how is she measuring the data coming from there and see the conversion to clients? So
that's an interesting question. So Reels does not have insights yet. So I don't know if you guys use Instagram as a business account. If you don't already have your Instagram as a business account, make sure it is one. But Reels do not have insights yet. So I cannot track exactly, I posted this reel, I got 5 new likes from this one reel, that kind of thing. So you cannot post, I guess you can't directly see within Instagram how it's tracking. But what I will say is every time I post a reel, I do watch within like the first 24 to 48 hours how many new followers I've gotten, and you can see how many views that you have. So typically I get between 5 and 7 new followers every time I post a new reel. And that's huge for us. It's huge because that if you post a reel twice a week, you're getting a significant amount of followers every single week. How you turn it into dollars, I don't necessarily track that per reel, but I will say our engagement has gone significantly up. And then when you have engagement, that's when you can start turning that into dollars. So for instance, if someone comments on your reel or on anything on your social media, you should immediately not just be responding to them in the comments, but you should also DM them and say like, hey, I saw that you commented on our reel. You can open up any kind of, it depends on what they're saying, but you don't want to like cold sell them, but you can absolutely say, thanks so much for commenting on my reel. Do you do reels, or, are you getting married? Whatever you want to say, but open up a conversation. It's really your job to sell it from there. But I will say, in the midst of a pandemic, Blushes sales went up 30% last year. And that's incredible. And the only major difference we had to our advertising was using Reels. Yeah. And so for us, I was like, this is a no-brainer. It just helps us to be more active on the app.
Well, and I feel like, wedding pros today are really trying to pivot away from some of the larger, things in the past of where our brides always were are right. No longer there. And we all are kind of seeing through that like mystique of like, hey, we need to change where we're spending our advertising dollars. So if this is something that you can just put time into and you're reaching more people, like I feel like that's like obviously a win-win because it's less dollars spent and like, you save that bit of, although, I mean, I'm not saying to anybody change like your advertising, what you might use, but if you incorporated this and see a difference, it might be a nice way to, sway those dollars to either having someone on your team that specializes in this, rather than paying those different advertising costs.
Yeah. I mean, even having a VA on your team that you're paying, 5 to 10 hours a week that can make the Canva templates for you, or that can post for you, because you can make all the videos at once. Let's say you block out, like for me, I block out Monday afternoons. Excuse me. I have such bad allergies. I block out Monday afternoons to do content. So anything that I need to create, I block that time to do it. But then other people are posting it. I'm not necessarily the one pushing it out to Instagram. So you could create the reels all at one time and then have a VA that's pushing them out. I will say one of the things that I think is just a mindset shift is that as wedding pros, we're so prone to just giving Wedding Wire and The Knot. I love both of them. I have nothing bad to say about either one, but we're so prone to just like, here's my money, like here, take my hundreds of dollars a month for advertising. And we rarely are tracking how many actual dollars are coming from those. I mean, every single lead that's coming or every single contract. And I promise you, it's not going to be as many conversions as if you were to just put that money and time into engaging on Instagram,
Well,
because you're able to do it fast.
And one thing I always recognized from when I did get a lead from the Knot or Wedding Bar, it was never like a good bride. Like I always felt like they weren't strong brides. And I had more luck when I was working with the word of mouth with like those venues. So it might be really smart and I think we're going to put together like some tips or tricks or ideas for all of our people that are attending this, some ideas, but maybe finding a way to really work in your venues that you frequent and like showing off them in your reels and how much you love this venue. So it's not only are you attracting those brides, but it's like reinforcing that relationship, because I know that those were the biggest feeders to our business, and like wedding planners or certain photographers or cake bakers, but some great ideas.
I mean, that's a great reel to make too, is go visit a venue, or when you show up on wedding day, show up a few minutes early if you're allowed to. Don't irritate anyone, but and just show off the venue and make that into a reel.
Before and after.
Yeah, exactly. Before and after is perfect. Or do snapshots throughout the day of you with different vendors, and and then make a reel out of it and say, love working with the A team or whatever you want to say. But it's just my biggest piece of advice when you're doing anything from a wedding: just don't try to make the reel that night unless you have like downtime, but I would say I typically shoot all the footage and then we use whatever we can on Monday to make whatever reel.
Yeah. So I know that you offer classes and all of, and can you go into like what you teach in those classes for anybody that might really be like ready to fully commit to doing this and getting someone to hold their hand?
Yeah. So I do. So I put together 101 different reel ideas that wedding pros, specifically for wedding pros, can use to just kind of get your creative juices flowing. So, and that has hashtag sets that you can use and change based on your location. And then inspiration, like videos that you can watch us do so that you can get really inspired to use the same audio if you want to. So I have that. And then I also have a YouTube course that I literally show you exactly how to make a reel. So like step by step, show you my phone. Here's how to make a reel. Here's how to time the text. And again, my biggest thing is to teach you how to make 5-minute reels and how to batch them, because I genuinely think if you decide, okay, I'm going to try for 30 days to make reels and I'm going to really give it my best effort, I'm going to post 2 a week, I promise you will start to see conversion from it. There's not a single person I've ever talked to that's ever taken my course or that's just done reels on their own that has said, oh, I really didn't see any movement from it. It's so much. I actually just saw Marcella said she just did her first reel and it was about a new wedding venue and it had a lot of views. Yeah. And it's so exciting to see it. And it's funny because I actually had a wedding pro the other day. She's a photographer and she took my course and she said, I'm so discouraged because I just posted my first reel and it only had 700 views. And I said, well, how many views do your stories typically get? And she was like, anywhere between like 50 and 75. And I was like, so you 10 times the views that you would post on a story and you're disappointed? Like, I'm confused. And she was like, I guess I never thought about it that way, because everyone thinks they need to go viral or they need to have thousands and thousands of views, but you don't. You just are trying to make a bigger impact than you do on your stories and that you do on your grid, and you're reaching new people, new eyeballs to come to your grid. So yeah, I'd be interested to know, Marcella, if you got any new followers from it. I don't know if you would know that yet. The other thing I forgot to mention when we were talking about insights and tracking is that the typical Instagram post lasts for less than 48 hours. So we do all this work to make sure we have these beautiful grid posts, these static posts. They're perfect. They literally last for less than like 36 hours, you guys. That's how long an Instagram post lasts. A reel lasts for weeks. I still get likes and comments on reels I made over a month ago because they're constantly being fed. And the more people that like them or comment on them or watch them, the more they keep showing up. So same thing with Pinterest. A Pinterest pin can stay viral for like 6 years, they're saying. But a reel, isn't that crazy? It's so insane. But a reel lives for so much more time than just the 24 to 48 hours. So don't just base it on that either. Like my most popular reel still gets likes and comments every single day. And I'm like, this is insane. So don't just base it on that. It's just, it's a bigger bang for your buck. It's like, if you knew you could put $1 into this slot machine and it gave you, you know, $1 back, or you could put it in this slot machine and it gave you $1.50 back, which one would you keep putting your dollar into, you know? Yeah. So instead of making so much content on your grid and your story, still do that. But a lot of Instagram gurus are saying they're even posting less and they're doing more reels because they're just getting so much more return on them.
Yeah, that's, if anybody has any questions, if you'd like to raise your hand for that aren't part of this discussion, I would be, you know, please raise your hand. One thing I did want to say is you're a really big advocate on women-owned businesses, and, you know, we're women-owned, and, you know, 90% of the people on my staff are women-owned. So I always appreciate that. You have a really great podcast that I think you put out a weekly podcast with like a new person. So if you'd like to share that with our audience, I'd love for you to tell them, because you have all kinds of powerhouse entrepreneurs that come on there that are always giving great advice.
Yes, Kareen being one of them. Yes, I love having a podcast. It definitely has a bent towards the wedding industry, but it's really just for creative small business owners. And a lot of it is, we do a lot of inspirational, just like stories. Like with Kareen, I wanted to hear her story about like how she went from being a florist to having this idea for a software, and then creating the software and raising funds and creating this amazing product. And so we do a lot of those kind of podcasts. And then we do a lot of educational podcasts, like here's exactly how to do reels, or here's exactly how to use Pinterest. And Alan Berg was on last year. He's amazing. Brian Lawrence was just recently on. So we've got some great speakers that come on, and it's just a, I mean, I love it. I think it's so fun. But yeah, we try to make sure that you get education out of it, and everything that I teach will always have to do with how can I do this quickly and efficiently, and only things that will actually make an impact on your business. Because you guys know, my gosh, you've been to conferences where they're just like, do all the things. And you're like, I can't do all the things. I will tell you, unless you're killing it on TikTok already, do not do TikTok. I mean, that's just my own personal opinion, but I think it's a waste.
No. Yeah. Well, I think that's where our kids are all there, you know, and it's like, it's just so cluttered with a lot of information. And, you know, it's not really where our brides are, I have to say. So when it first started, I was like, oh gosh, I cannot jump on this TikTok bandwagon. And then before I know it, I'm like on there, but only for my personal entertainment when I need like a down, chill out, like funny, haha. But
I mean, it's great for that.
Yeah, I use Instagram a lot more just to know what's going on, or just seeing how our customers, what they're putting out. And I think that the Reels is such a great way to do that. And even Brandee on our team, our other Brandee, has been posting Reels of her daughter just at Disney whenever they go. And it's crazy. Like one of her videos has like 50,000 views, and she is not
crazy?
Like a heavy like Reels person. She just posted one and everyone likes it. So it keeps getting shared. So you never really know who's going to see these different things, but I feel like it's such a huge avenue for a lot of customers.
Yeah, and it just is the way video or content is going. Like I said in the beginning, YouTube now has shorts, which are 30-second videos on YouTube, because they're trying to compete with this whole thing. And it's so amazing how much you can teach in 30 seconds. It's unbelievable. And so people that used to make these, 30 or 40-minute YouTube videos are now condensing all that information into a 30-second short. And it's really just meant to get you to then go watch the full-length video. Like, I'm not going to be able to teach anybody how to make a reel in 15 or 30 seconds, but I can teach you enough to be like, wait a second, that's a cool hack. And then you go watch the rest, or you go learn the rest of it. So it's pretty cool. I just, short form video is where we're going. So you got to get comfortable with it. And I will say, you don't have to show your face, but you should show your face. Whether it's in Reels or on your story or wherever people like seeing your face. That's probably why her daughter's reel got so much, because people like seeing people, you know?
Yeah. Well, and I feel like we're all so disconnected. The last year has really like changed the way that we interact with someone. We're all so hungry to have these like relationships. So we feel like we're getting to sneak into your world and other people's world. And I think that you've just done a phenomenal job of really just jumping in feet first. And I really am like, you know, I was just kind of a bystander out there watching, like, okay, we'll see how this goes. But really, I feel like I've missed the boat. Like when Instagram or Facebook first came along, I was like, I don't know if I want to do it. But the people who started early with it have 50,000, 100,000 followers now. And I feel like we're all playing catch up in this. So I see these new things and I really encourage people to jump in before, like, you know, the next thing comes along. But we all should be talking about what's working or what's not. If anybody creates a reel, I'd love for you to like tag us in, so like we can see it and share it and hopefully get more views, but also just to be inspired about how you're out there promoting your business. I think it's really a new avenue. So I'm excited.
No, absolutely. And if you are like, I want to make reels, but I still don't understand how to use the app, you can grab my course. I'm going to send Kareen a link that will give you guys a discount on that. So she'll send that out with the email, with the recap of this video, or you can pop over to my Instagram and you can get it, but I would wait for the discount code that we'll send over to Kareen. But if you guys want to grab the course, it really does walk you through exactly how to make reels and how to do them quick and efficiently, because I don't believe in doing anything that takes that much time. It has to be fast. And then you get back to running your business.
Right. Yes, that's the way to do it. There was a question about Clubhouse. Yeah. Is there a way to join Clubhouse without being invited?
Yeah, no, it's all invite only. And it's only because they're still in beta, which it's so funny. They're getting so much pushback because they're only for iPhone right now, and they are invite only. And they're invite only just to keep from having tons of people join at one time and crashing the system. So they're still in beta. They used to give everybody one invite when you would get on. So they were really trying to keep the growth slow. But now you can get multiple invites for doing different things. And so it's not that hard to get an invite. I have an invite. So I have a couple of invites, I think. So if anybody wants to DM me on Instagram.
I've earned it's like as you join or you converse or talk on this, you like earn invites. So I'm like hoarding them and I'm like, ooh, do I want to give them away? I don't know. But if you need an invite.
I give mine out all the time. I'm like meeting somebody in the hallway. I'm like, oh, you need to get on Clubhouse. Here's an invite. Because I feel like you get so many now. But they're saying 4 to 6 weeks for Android users is what I've heard. So it's coming. Yeah.
Yeah. But you know, we do analytics and on all of our users, and my programmer recently did a poll of like the world and like what devices they're on, and like 90% of the people are on Apple devices. Right. So I feel like it's a natural thing for Clubhouse to start there and only do it there. And obviously all the Android people are like upset because they're not getting this, but
they should have had an iPhone.
I know. I'm so Apple heavy.
Me too. You can use an iPad. So a lot of people didn't know that, but you can use an iPad as long as you know the phone number for your iPad.
Okay, good to know. If anybody's wanting, in our newsletters, we have been putting down, like, if you want an invitation to Clubhouse, just send us an email, and then as we acquire them, we'll send them out. So if anybody is listening and they want one, I'd be happy to share. We're going to be doing a replay of this. It's going to be in our newsletter, and we're also going to send it out to anybody that registered or is in attendance. So thank you guys for joining in, and thank you, Brandee, for sharing everything that you know about Reels. I hope that we have inspired some of our users to like jump in. And like I said, I'm excited to see what you guys make. If you do make any, please tag us in it so we can share.
But I want to see them too. So make sure you tag me. And if anybody's starting to make a reel and you just have a question or you're like frustrated, you can DM me. I answer my own DMs. I don't outsource that. And I try to answer them pretty quickly. So DM me over on Instagram. And ask me anything. I'm happy to answer, help, because I think it's such a big deal for our industry. So I'm excited about it.
Yeah. And if you guys have any other classes that you are interested in hearing topics on, or us bringing some different experts in to speak, please send us an email. We're always interested in kind of giving people what they're most interested in content and finding people that fill these gaps. So it's definitely been a pleasure. And if you guys have any questions, we'll stay here for the next couple minutes. But thank you, Brandee. It's been great. I appreciate it.
Yeah, I loved it. I always love talking about reels. I think they're so fun. Or just social media in general.
Yeah, thanks, Dara. The little applause. So you're at, just to fill in here, Brandee, as we're closing out, you're at this conference in Orlando with David Tutera. Can you give any of our people that might be huge David Tutera fans any behind the scenes things that are happening there?
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun. David Tutera experience, there's only about 50 people here, so it's super intimate. Yeah, I don't know. It's been very inspirational, so more inspirational than educational, which I think is interesting and different for a conference. So that's been really cool. But the flowers, you guys, the flowers are so unbelievable. So we have Tailored Twig did a flower demonstration yesterday, and they taught us how to put together flower arrangements, which I was like, I don't think I can do this, but it was great. And no, it's been a lot of fun. Lots of floral artwork. So if you've ever considered attending David Tutera experience, it would be amazing for florists, I feel like, because there's so much emphasis on it. I'm not sure why, because it's for planners really, but he's very much into floral artwork and teaching planners why flowers cost so much and how they have to be processed. So we learned all about that yesterday.
Well, flowers definitely make the difference in any of David's events. They're over the top extraordinary. So we appreciate his love for flowers. And I've had the opportunity to work with him on a couple things, and he's just so great and so open. So I love that experience. I'm sad I couldn't go. I'm so close. His next one is in September, Marcella said. Do you know where it's at?
Yes, it is. It's in Newport, Rhode Island. And I think it's the 14th through the 16th. And as of right now, that one's still a go. And then he's also the keynote speaker at Wedding MBA every year. So he'll be there, which is November 8th through 10th, I think.
Awesome. You're a speaker this year too, I think.
Yes, I'm so excited. I cannot wait. It'll be my first time speaking at Wedding MBA, so I'm excited about that. So David is awesome. And he's on Clubhouse. So if you guys want to go get on Clubhouse and go follow him, you can jump in a room with him.
David Tutera. People are, David who? David Tutera.
Oh, David Tutera. Sorry. Yes. He's a celebrity wedding planner. And somebody asked a question
So we've got a question about, is there a limit to the number of reels you can save before posting them?
No, but lesson I learned the hard way, I talk about this in my course, is if you log out of Instagram, it also deletes all of your drafts, which I don't think I didn't know, because I had 13 saved in my drafts when it deleted all of mine. But I wanted the update to Instagram, and I thought by uninstalling the app and reinstalling it, it would give me the update, and it didn't, but it did delete all of my drafts. So little known fact is that if you log out of Instagram, all of your drafts go away. I never log out, so it was super random that I did it. But don't log out. But no, you can save as many as you want. I try to make at least 10, if not 12 in one sitting, which you can really do in about 2 hours or less, because you have to change in between each one. So my bedroom's a mess when I'm doing it, but I change and then I do the next one, and I change and I do the next one. So you save them all as drafts.
Yeah. You got to change your hair up, do a bunch of different styles. So it doesn't look like it's all done in the same day. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. I will say, side tip is that any of your reels that make it look like you're waking up or that you're getting ready for the day, you should do last, because then once you put your hair in a ponytail, at least mine, it'll leave like a crease in my hair. So I now always make those last, but no one's ever actually just waking up when they look like they're just waking up. You're just faking it. So.
Yeah. Well, I'm excited to see how this all turns out. If you guys have any questions, please send them my way, and I'll be sure to forward them on to Brandee. We'll include her email, her course, the discount, this video and any tips, like we'll do like the Cliffs Notes version of this,
Ooh, fun.
so that you guys kind of have like what's in here and what did we learn. And again, if anybody has anything else they would love to learn, please send it over. We'll get it planned. I will announce that on April 20th, we're hosting another masterclass with my friend Sue Davis of Flower Soul and Fresh Designs. And she's going to be talking about igniting and inspiring excitement for floral design and what you can do to like re-energize yourself throughout the season. So Sue is like a huge advocate of that. And she has Design Sanctuary, which is a wonderful workshop that she hosts that really goes through that. So please join us or register for that next class. And yeah, thank you guys for attending. I hope you guys all have a happy Easter and are gearing up for Mother's Day because it will be here before we know it. Yes, and if you had any interest in Clubhouse, please just comment in the chats, and my team will make sure that we get you an invite. And follow Brandee and I on there too, and anybody else that's a part. Let us know. If you're a part of Clubhouse and you want to be included in our newsletter, we have been adding at the bottom of the newsletter anybody that we know that is already on Clubhouse, just to kind of create a little community. Yeah, so
I love it.
Cool. Thanks, guys. Have
Right.
a day. If there's no other questions, we tried to get this done in an hour, and look, we did it. We did it.
Perfect.
Yeah.
I love it. Thank you guys so much for having me. Thanks, Kareen, for asking me to be here.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thank you so much, Brandee, for sharing all your tips and tricks.
Happy to. All right. Bye, guys. Have a great day.
Bye. You too.